Okay, so I saw Skyline yesterday, and it's time for me to weigh in on my opinion. Uh, I'll come right out and say what my general opinion of the movie is, and it's right down the line, depending on who you are. I mean, it's a moderate recommendation for genre fans. If you're a hardcore science fiction fan, or you're a just an alien invasion fan, you might want to see this. It's nothing to be thrilled about. I think Battle Los Angeles later on in a few months is going to be much better than this, hopefully. But it's somewhat interesting if you're a major fan. If not, if you're not a major fan of the genres, this is probably a skip unless you're either a really big fan of any of the actors involved. And I'll get into why. And the big problem I think with this movie is it's supposed to be a character piece. That's how the movie is set up to be. It's not an action film per se, even though there's a few action scenes. The way the movie is structured, it's structured to be a character piece, and the characters are crap in this one. Very poorly set up, very poorly executed, and a lot of the people that wound up being in the film for quite a while are not very well explained. We'll start off with Eric Balfour's character, Jared, we're supposed to make him like, yo, he's supposed to be such a nice guy, but the one or two things that are done to establish this are so forced and kind of Hollywood unnatural, shall I say, that it creates a disconnect with us. At the beginning of the film, he's like letting a pregnant woman go by, now maybe with a mother with a baby, go by him on the airplane in a kindly manner, but it's a little too forced. It's a little too forced for it to work. And there's also problems with understanding the character's motivations. For example, Scotty Thompson's character, who is Eric Balfour's character's wife, living girlfriend, one of those. He gets offered a job from Donald Faison's character, yeah, Turk from Scrubs, near the beginning of the film, and we kind of know that Balfour and Thompson's character are like struggling in New York, and here comes Faison's character offering him a good-paying job in L.A., and she's angry and disturbed by this. We don't understand why, and you as an audience are left confused as to why the hell she has this reaction. It's not, they could have just one line earlier in the film going like, I really don't want to ever leave New York. I love New York too much. Something like that earlier in the film, we would automatically understand why her character would be distressed by the fact that they would have to leave New York, or that, maybe something that like her career is more on track, or something along those lines to at least set up why there was this, issue and tension and frustration between these characters. Speaking of Faison's character, he is probably the most relatable character in the film. We kind of understand everything about him character-wise, and you kind of like him as a character. His character's name's Terry, but here's the problem. Well, let me first say, we're also introduced to his assistant and his girlfriend. The assistant gets somewhat of characterization, stuff revealed, yada yada yada. The girlfriend, especially in the beginning of the film, has absolutely nothing to do. She's background. She's just kind of, here's the hot blonde girlfriend for Faison's character, who's an actor. At least I think he's an actor. He's something in show business. So, now I don't mind that, knowing this movie. I don't have to know everybody. I'm just assuming then that, the girlfriend's gonna die. Like, be the first one to go, or something, sucked out the window first. No, that's not what happened. This is getting directly into spoilers, and from now on, I think to properly explain this movie, we're gonna get into spoiler territory. So, you've got my recommendation. If you don't want it spoiled, move on. But, alright. They, at one point, try to escape this apartment complex where most of the film takes place, and they kill off Faison's character and the secretary, who both have character build up, and we're then left with the girlfriend who we know nothing about, and they don't really go too much further into her character other than that she likes to smoke when under stress. That's it. And then they bring in David Zayas, who was the dictator from the Expendables, and as kind of the concierge, who we have one scene with him earlier when they're having a party, saying, "Hey, we have some noise complaints." And that was about it. There's no real character. I mean, he wound up kind of liking him. He has quite the badass moment where he like sets up a little trap to blow up an apartment building to take out a giant monster. But I mean, character-wise, he needed more setup time. And this is, I think, a problem that we see from the Strauss brothers, who directed this film and also directed AVPR. They have good moments, they have good general ideals about how to do characters, but they don't get all the details right. They don't get all the steps and everything in the process to make the audience like a character. And that's the problem with this film, because it's not strictly an alien invasion movie, which if you've seen the trailers, this looks like it's going to be a more macro story, where we're going to see stuff from the news, people, at high levels, possibly. I mean, we got the idea that we have, like, the average people, much like Independence Day. That's what I was really envisioning this as. Okay, we'll have, people at, low-level, everyday people and high-level people kind of both discussing this issue of what are these aliens doing, can we win, yada, yada, yada. No, it's strictly told from Eric Balford's character and his party, which are a bunch of Hollywood partygoers who basically are stuck in this penthouse apartment for the entire movie, and they don't even have like TV at one point. And I should explain this. When the aliens first kind of start sucking up everybody, they try to turn on the TV, and apparently the people in the television studios were sucked out. Now, they didn't get the light fully because they had some cheap blinds down, and that's why they didn't see this light. The light, in case you're wondering, is like this little light that turns people's zombifies them and lets the aliens suck them out of the rooms. Television studios now are like in deep within a building, no windows, so the TV should have still been on. They ended. This is real big spoiler. Basically the humans lose in the end. They're just completely wiped out. Well, I don't know, completely wiped out, but they lose. Every attempt that the military tries is just defeat it. There's kind of very like no hope. Now, if the whole point was that humans are overconfident and really in the universe, that might be said. But like I said, this is really a character piece, so it's annoying. And it goes on a real grimdark ending, which I don't think this movie is properly set up for the grimdark ending. We don't as an audience don't want. Not a lot of movies can actually pull off the really dark, humanity's wiped out ending. This is one of them. I think there was a time when just doing a dark ending like that was, ooh, wow, that's different. Now too many people have tried it. It's gotten old, but they do try to give us some hope, shall we say, in that Balford's character has been exposed to this light so many times he's able to resist the aliens' programming. Yes, because the aliens have come down here to steal our brains, by the way. Very 50s pulp. But yeah, that's the reason the aliens are invading, is so they can take our brains and put them into their little drone robot things. But for whatever reason, Balford's characters can resist the brainwashing, and he gets his alien body at the very end. And when I mean the very end, I'm like the last minute or two of the movie, and he begins to fight, and then the movie just ends. And that's going to be the biggest problem, the biggest negative thing. And people were like screaming at the screen when I was in the theater that the movie just ended. It ends so abruptly and in the middle of an action. They try to show a few flash pictures of what happened afterwards. I'm not sure if they ran out of budget or what, but it's annoying how this movie ends like that without very good explanation. I wish I had a lot more time. There was a lot more I wanted to talk about this movie. I'm trying to squeeze it into one segment here, and I don't want to do two-parters like I used to. So that's it. Moderate recommendation. See something else. Wait for Battle Los Angeles if you want an alien invasion film. Signing off.